Good morning, students. I am Dr. Kamala, Assistant Professor of Political Science, New Government Degree College, Serlingampalli, Rangareddy District, Telangana. So, today, actually, in the previous classes, we were discussing about the concept of power. Right? Today, we are going to discuss about authority. Right? So, the see here, authority, right? So the concept of actually the authority has acquired great significance in the area of political science and public administration. And the word actually authority is um, first, according to Bertrand de Zollin, is as old as the word state, and ancient, Greek political philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle have mentioned this word in their speeches and writings. Okay, so you need to remember about the Greek philosophers. Okay, and for the first time, actually, they have mentioned this term authority in their writings as well as speeches. So, the word authority is derived from two ancient Roman words, namely, one is author and the other is Anchoritos. Okay, what is that? Anchoritos. One is author and another is Anchoritos. So, which means advice, suggestion, or prescription. Okay, what is prescription? Yeah, very good. You know the meaning of prescription. Yeah, very good. Okay. So, the word authority is derived from two ancient Roman words, namely author and Anchoritos. Okay. So, which means advice, suggestion, prescription, etc. Now, see, most of the words actually derive from Latin or words, but this authority has been derived from ancient Roman words. Okay, that you need to remember, because sometimes it might be asked in in competitive exams. Okay, so the authority is revealed through speeches, words, and force. Okay, so now uh, we'll discuss about the definition. Actually, this concept has has occupied a prominent place in the writings of Augustine, Saint Aquinas, Machiavelli, Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau. And during 20th century also, most of the prominent writers like Michael Max Weber and Carl Frederick, then Mac Ivor, Robert Dahl. Okay, so they also they also gave an analysis of this concept in their writings. Okay, starting from the Greek philosophers to the modern or the 20th century prominent writers, this concept was analyzed in their writings. Okay, and definitions. If you see the definitions, several political writers and analysis of public administration have defined the word authority in several ways. Okay, one among them was Miss Paulet. So, according to Miss Paulet, authority is the symbol of influence and achievement of the consensus. Okay, through speeches we can influence, through words we can influence, and through force we can influence in order to for achieving the consensus. Okay, so that is authority. Now, in the words of Robert E. Dahl, the words of Robert A. Dahl, authority is the legitimate power. Authority is the legitimate power or influence. Okay, so uh, legitimate power, that which is acceptable. Legitimate in the sense that which it is acceptable power. Okay, so every even the power was legitimate, so also the authority is a legitimate power, means reasonable, acceptable to or influence, we can say. And according to MacIver, authority is the power to command obedience. Authority is the power to command the obedience of. If A commands, if A has the authority, obviously Y to have the obedience, right? So Miss Paulette, authority is a symbol of influence and achievement of the consensus. And according to Robert E. Dahl, authority is a legitimate power or influence, and according to MacIver, authority is the power to command obedience. So this you need to remember, the students, because in examinations also, if the concept of authority comes for as a question, then you need to write at least two definitions, and without changing the statement what they have stated. You can't write on your own what they have stated. Okay, as it is, you need to write the definition. And now we will discuss about characteristics of authority. Now, authority, actually, Max Weber, who is a famous German philosopher, has actually, has given the following characteristics. Okay, so authority is a symbol of group individuals who rule the people. Okay, it is a symbol. Now, authority is allocated to some person. They will have that authority, so that they will rule the other. Okay, the rulers will rule the people by using authority. Okay, and it is the command, direction issued for influencing and regulating the behavior of the ruled. Okay, so what is that? It is the command issued for influencing and regulating the behavior of the ruled. Ruler will issue the command in order to regulate the behavior of the rule. For example, if you take the classroom environment, the teacher will command. Otherwise, what happens? Students will do whatever they like to do in the classroom. Right? So, what happens? If the teacher comes, all will be what? Maintaining silence. Why? Because teacher will command. Okay, and in fact the teacher will regulate the behavior of the students, we can say. Here we are talking about rule, but I am giving the example of classroom. Okay, so it is command. The authority is command, which is issued for influencing and regulating the behavior of the rule. Otherwise, what happens? If command is not issued, the students will do whatever they like. Okay, so it is what? Controlling the external behavior of the individual or the student, we can say. Next, it stands as an example for enforcing certain directives of the rulers. Okay, so it is an example for enforcing certain directives. So, in order to enforce certain directives of the rulers, it stands as an example. Now, It will possess permission of the legislature on a matter of policy implementation. Okay, what is legislature actually in India? Yeah, both the houses of parliament. Right, very good, very good. Okay, so it needs the permission of the legislature on a matter of policy implementation, and it is a hierarchical division of ruled and rulers for achieving certain comprehensive objectives. There will be hierarchy. Okay, who will for example, who will be on the top, who will be in the bottom. That is a hierarchy maintained in order to hierarchical division is made in order to make the easy to rule. Okay, so rule and rulers, and it is a replica of fundamental law. Now, what is that replica? In the sense, it is maintained for fundamental law, and it is concerned with the approval of superior executive heads in their respective spheres. Within the area we have certain laws, and within that respective spheres we have to get the approval of the superior executive heads, right? And it is a process, the authority is a process meant for supervising the subordinate. Okay, so it is very, for example, if it is a office, the boss has to supervise the subordinate whether he is doing the work or not, and it provides scope for rational process. Okay, scope for rational process for taking the decisions necessary, maintaining for managing the affairs of an organization. So once again we'll repeat. So the features or the characteristics of authority. Actually, it is Max Weber, a German philosopher, actually have characterized this following following characteristics of authority. That authority is a symbol of the group individuals who rule the people. Next is, it is a command issued for influencing and regulating the behavior of the rule, and it stands as an example for enforcing certain directives of the rulers. It points out that the ruled have accepted the directives of the rulers. It will possess the permission of the legislature on a matter of policy implementation. It is a hierarchical division of ruled and rulers for achieving certain comprehensive objectives. It is a replica of fundamental law according to the acts of persons and experts groups for realizing some institutional objectives. It is concerned with the approval of superior executive heads in their respective spheres. It is a process meant for supervising the working of subordinate personnel. It provides scope for rational process for taking the decisions necessary for managing the affairs of an organization. Now we will discuss the kinds of authority. What are kinds of authority? So there will be some groups, right? Some groups of authority in every society, right? I think you might be known, in every society there will be some of the groups who have authority. Now these groups will have some beliefs and sentiments as their basis of working, right? And the majority will have the authority over the minorities. Okay? See, minorities will be dominated by the majority. In a political community, there are same as preconceived personnel for fulfilling the public amenities. Now, Max Weber has proposed domination theory authority on the basis of two elements, that is legitimacy and administrative system. Okay, and you need to remember that this authority is vested in some groups. Okay, and this authority is vested in every society, and will have some beliefs and sentiments to work out. And this Max Weber has proposed domination theory of authority on the basis of two elements of legitimacy and administrative system. Now we'll discuss about what is legal authority. In other words, it is also known as constitutional authority. Okay, so now legal authority, the authority according to is based on some determinate rights and duties. Okay, and authority is directives are carried out on legal terms, and people consider these directives as rational and legalized. Okay, because see, if it is legitimate, that is reasonable, and that is going to benefit all the people, then obviously this kind of authority is accepted by everyone. Okay, so for example, our constitution everyone follows, because why? Because these are the directives based on rational and legalized. Okay, and the relations between the rulers and rule are determined according to the prevailing laws. Right. So what happens, this web authority accrues to a person by issuing certain decrees as per his office and by conducting the authority in a justifiable manner. Now, for instance, if you take the nominal and real executive heads, they enjoy the authority in their capacity of individuals in that system, right? And they acquire the power according to the office which they hold. Now, according to the constitution, what the nominal authority has to be, according to their spheres, they have to do their duties, right? So also the real executive has to perform his duties according what the constitution has allocated. So the respective constitutions clearly actually denote a written form about their powers and limitations. Now what are their powers, and within which are the boundaries that have to be restricted, right? So their directives are carried out not on personal ground, but on what? Legal terms. Okay, they will perform their authority or power based on, for the benefit of all, on the grounds of legal terms only. Now people actually consider these legal directives as rational and legalized, right? And they are they are assisted by a group of bureaucrats, these real executives and nominal executives, what we are talking. So they are assisted by a group of bureaucrats in the administration of their goals. Okay, means the government objectives, or the government goals, or the nation goals also we can say. Who are bureaucrats actually? Yes, the civil servants. Okay, so they are the civil servants actually behind the scene, where they are the policy makers, right? So in the administration of their goals, the bureaucrats will be assisting the real executives or the nominal executives. Now the relations between the rulers and the rule are determined according to the prevailing laws. Okay, according to the prevailing laws, because we cannot cross the constitution also, that we need to remember. So all the matters relating to hierarchy, promotion, recruitment, service conditions, are determined only through legal authority only, right? So the legal authority is more profoundly found more in developed nations than in developing nations. However, in like a country like India and some parliamentary systems, legal authority is profoundly influenced and determined by the charismatic qualities. Example, if you take Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, they had charismatic leadership. Okay, we will discuss about that later. Okay, so once again, would like to repeat about the legal authority. Means, see, legal authority is exercised according to certain, some determinate rights and duties, and they show obedience, not keeping, not keeping in view of the person in authority, but according to the authority as per law. Okay, we have to look it in, not in personal view, right? Person's view of authority, but we have to follow as per law. Okay, so Max Weber has explained about legal authority in the following way. Now, as a so he stated that authority accrues to a person by issuing certain decrees as per his office and by conducting the authority in a justifiable manner. And legal authority is also known as constitutional authority because it is based on constitution. In the constitution, it is a written document which has framed rules and regulations for everyone. Okay, and I've given the example of nominal and real executive heads. They enjoy the authority in their capacity of individuals in that system, as they acquire power according to the office which they hold. So, the respective see, different countries have different constitution. So, according to that, they have framed their rules and regulations, right? So clearly, which are in the form of written document about their powers and limitations, and they use these whatever the directives are carried out by the authority is based on legal terms, and people have to obey these directives in a rational and legalized manner, and in order to carry out their administration or their goals, they are assisted by a group of bureaucrats. Okay, and the relations between the rulers and the ruled are determined according to the prevailing laws, and all matters relating to hierarchy, promotion, recruitment, service conditions are absolutely determined through legal authority. And legal authority is in India also is profoundly influenced and determined by the charismatic leadership. Okay, so now we will discuss about the traditional authority. Now, it is exercised on the basis of ancient traditions and customs. Traditional authority is based on ancient traditions, what we are following right from the beginning of our forefathers, our grandparents, that we follow the same. Okay, so on the basis of ancient traditions and customs. Now, persons who use this authority assign importance to people's traditions and customs. Now, according to Max Weber, he has described that this authority is not absolute authority. Okay, this authority is not absolute authority and is exercised according to the discretion of persons. Okay, they will exercise according to their discretion, their own decision, right? So that that that's why he has stated that it is not absolute, and this kind of authority is mostly vague in communities which are not developed. Means we can say that which are unorganized communities. There, this kind of this authority is involved, we can see. And in a state where this kind of authority is prevalent, it is relative servants and friends of the leaders in government will prevail over others in political matters. Actually, once it was in Nepal and Bhutan, this kind of authority was prevalent, but it is not right now. It is not a traditional authority, right? But due to influence of urbanization and industrialization, this authority has lost its importance and influence also. Okay, so this traditional authority is exercised on what grounds or on what basis? Yes, traditions and customs which were followed in olden days or the ancient traditions. And Max Weber has described this authority is not an absolute authority. Okay, and it is present in communities which are not developed actually. Okay, and this kind of authority actually lost its influence due to industrialization and urbanization. Still it exists in some parts of the country, right? Now we'll discuss about the charismatic authority. What do you mean by charisma? Yes, have you have any idea about charisma? Yes, the sort of attraction we can say. Charisma. Charismatic. Have you heard charismatic? For example, a heroine or a hero with a famous dialogues, with an attraction. What happens? For example, if they contest in elections, what you'll do? You will if it is someone Chiranjeevi, or for example, if it is in 1980s, the most influenced or the charismatic hero NTR, right? Through his powerful dialogues, he came into power within a year after the establishment of TDP party. So that is charisma and attraction. Example, Indira Gandhi with her bob cut hairstyle. It's an attraction all over India. So that's how she has become the Prime Minister, the first Prime Minister of India. So the charismatic factor also plays an important role, we can say. So it has acquired a lot of, charismatic authority has acquired, in many states of today. So even though legal authority is prevalent in many states, some political leaders, instead of their constitutional position, will be able to influence their cadre and followers by their charisma. Okay, so with the it is actually mostly personal in nature, right? It is mostly personal in nature, and with the help of this authority, it is easy to influence and inspire the people of their state. And to some extent, actually, it is merely same to traditional authority. What we have discussed in the earlier before this slide, we have discussed traditional authority. So it is nearly same to the traditional authority, and usually charismatic authority at a superior is one and the same. There is no change at all. So, leaders having charismatic authority will possess sincerity, honesty, dedicated outlook, etc. Now, as a result, what happens? They will be able to influence and inspire the people of their state. If you take the great leaders like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Mahatma Gandhi during the freedom struggle movement, Rajendra Prasad, Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Patel. So all these have had a good, you know, uh, charismatic authority. Okay, which is mostly actually personal in nature, right? So, uh, and according to some, they viewed that this kind of authority should not be possessed by the leaders. Okay, so the head of the state will take decisions and implement them purely on discretionary basis, and he acts as solely according to the self needs and interests. Usually, charismatic authority and the superior will be one and the same, what we have discussed, right? So he will be he will symbolize the authority. So he himself is the means, and he himself will be the end of the authority. So both political stability and administrative efficiency depend on him. So if he fails to utilize or exercise authority, the whole political system will collapse. Okay, so you need to remember that what the it, it is see, usually charismatic authority and the superior is one and the same. So if he fails to utilize this authority in a proper way, what happens? The whole political system collapses or disintegrates, we can say. So Max Weber felt that efforts are being made for transforming charismatic authority into rational and traditional authority in course of time. So now we have discussed about the kinds of authority. One is legal authority, the other one is traditional authority, and finally we have discussed about charismatic authority. Now we will discuss about the approaches of authority. Now what is approach actually? Don't know. Approach is a method. Okay, it is a method, one of the method. Okay, so approaches of authority. Now political scientists have considered that authority must be considered under three approaches. These three approaches are: one is legality, the other one is position or status, and finally human relations. Now let's see what is actually legality. Now authority in all states is manifested through constitutional principles and legislative enactments. Now everyone, the rulers as well as the ruled, must respect and adopt the various constitutional norms and legislative enactments without fail. Okay, everyone has to follow these authority. Okay, and this authority is empowered the superior heads to appoint new personnel and to meet the unforeseen expenses by utilizing the available financial resources. Now these powers actually must be exercised with great care, caution, and restraint. The leader, through the exercise of this authority, will be able to influence the behavior of others in a state. In course of time, the authority will transform into traditional authority. Okay, then status or the position. This is, in every political system, authority is accrued to the persons according to their position and status. Normally, the persons at higher levels in government will have more status. Yes, if you have a position in the government or a higher level, then obviously you will receive a more status, right, or a position. And these directives, the directives will be both oral and written, and will be strictly followed by the subordinate persons in the department. For example, if you hold the position of IAS officer, everyone has to follow those directions both orally and in the form of written, right? And they have to be strictly followed by subordinate persons in the department. And the status of an officer actually is determined by the certain elements like age, seniority, experience, personality, special knowledge, expertise, etc. So based on this status, the status of an officer is also sometimes is determined by certain elements like age, seniority, experience. If he is senior, we have to listen, right? If he has lot of experience, then also we have to follow his and we have to take the advantage of his experience, personality, special knowledge, and expert, whatever it may be, we have to follow our. And now we are going to discuss about human relations. Now, human relations is another approach of authority, we can say. That persons working at various levels in government will be able to discharge their duties and exercise their authority in an efficient manner when they have an harmonious and fraternal relations with their subordinates and superior persons in the political and administrative hierarchy. This is very much essential for a leader who is leading the team, because see, without any human relations, the work cannot be done. If there is if you maintain a cordial and good relations, then the work will be obviously done in a fine and perfect manner, right? So human relations are considered considered as another approach or important approach of authority. Okay, now, so what harmonious and fraternal relations should be there with their subordinate. Otherwise, the subordinates will not be able to follow your directives and will not be going to help you. And if they do also, they won't do that much efficient work, right? So, their subordinates and superior persons in the political administrative hierarchy, right? So in such conditions there prevails what peace. If there is a cordial and harmonious and fraternal relations, then they will have the peace, order, solidarity and integrity among the people as well as bureaucrats in the political system. So this enables what implies achieving compliance among the members of the political system. So this is very much essential, we should have a harmonious relations, right? And good relations with our colleagues or the subordinates, so that the system works properly without any disturbance. In a peaceful manner we can carry out whatever the directives we are given. So this is how the authority or the ruler will achieve good success in whatever he holds the position. Okay, so these are the approaches of authority. So what we have discussed right now, yes, we have discussed what is authority, and we also discussed the definitions, of Miss Follett, what she stated about what she has defined about authority, and the definition of Robert Dahl. Okay, and we also discussed about the characteristics of authority, which were denoted by Max Weber, a famous German philosopher. And we also discussed about the kinds of authority, that is legal authority, traditional authority, and charismatic authority. And just now we have discussed about approaches of authority. So legal approach, position or status, human relations, that we have discussed. So students, you please go through this concept of authority. If there are any doubts, we will clarify it later. Thank you so much.